Welcome to the D List, the show where I list things and my name begins with the D. From November 2014 to March 2019, I was employed by a small, homegrown startup called Starbucks Coffee. And for the first year or so, I actually enjoyed the job. And I even bought into the manufactured culture of support that corporate tries desperately to make it look like they cultivate. But it didn't take me that long to realize that working at Starbucks sucks. Like, really sucks. I mean, sure, it pays a bit better than other food service jobs, but that is the lowest possible bar to clear. And it doesn't pay better enough to make up for how much working at Starbucks sucks. Every single part of the job is boring at best and awful at worst. And it really doesn't help that they try to frame it like you're part of some higher calling when you're basically a legal drug dealer. But I'm not going to devote this video to the things that really sucked about the job. No, this video is about the things that mildly annoyed me. These are just going to be little pet peeves. They're not going to be my major issues with Starbucks, like the hypocrisy of calling its employees partners despite having a wildly inconsistent approach towards inclusion and respect, or the fact that the entire business model is based on taking advantage of the populace's crippling caffeine addiction to sell them overpriced sugar, or the fact that frappuccinos exist. No, in this video I'm just going to talk about the minor inconsequential things that I still couldn't get over. Some of them are things the company did, some of them are things the customers did. All of them are things that really got under my skin even though they really shouldn't have. It's time to get petty. Number 9. Jokes about getting names wrong. We've all heard the jokes about how baristas never get your name right.
John.
I'm sorry, could you please use it in a sentence for me?
Yeah, just, hi, I'm John.
John.
That's John.
Now, I'm not saying these jokes can't ever be funny. It made for a great runner on my favorite How I Met Your Mother episode, mainly because the mistaken name was cranked up to the point of absurdity, and for the bulk of it, the joke was really on the character who deserves to be mocked constantly. But the stereotype of baristas can't spell has gotten very old, especially since, in my experience, getting the name wrong is basically never, ever the barista's fault. Do you have any idea how much noise there is behind the counter at Starbucks? Between ovens, coffee brewers, espresso machines, blenders, the ventilation system in general, it's a miracle we can hear a single word you're saying, let alone your name. Maybe we'd be getting your name right if you weren't whispering it like it's some terrible secret.
Chief, it can't hurt to give just your first name. Thaddeus. Thaddeus? Sorry about that, Chief.
And look, I sympathize if you have a name that gets misspelled or mispronounced a lot. I know how annoying that is. I can't count how many ways my last name has been misspelled or mispronounced. But if your name has a lot of common spellings, it's not up to the barista to psychically guess which one you use. And I'm sorry if you have a name that people routinely don't even attempt to get right. That sucks. I can't even begin to imagine how hard that is for you. But baristas are not the people to take your anger out on. Baristas are under an incredible amount of pressure. We're taught to both be as friendly as possible with the customers, but also get them out of line as quickly as possible. It's a lot of mixed messages to deal with, and it's very, very hard. Number 8. Let's say you wanted a tall latte, but you wanted a second shot of espresso in that latte. How would you order that? You'd probably walk up and say something like, "Can I have a tall latte with an extra shot," right? You know, a normal English language sentence that somebody might say in English. For some reason, there's a widespread part of the populace that says, "Can I have a tall latte with an add shot?" An add shot. An add shot. How the hell did this happen? This only happened with espresso. Nobody ever says, "Can I have an add whipped cream?" They just say, "Can I have extra whipped cream?" or "Can I add whipped cream?" You know, using add as a verb like it always is. But for some reason, espresso has its secret language that sprang up out of nowhere, and I really don't know why. Yeah, there's a button on the register that says add shot. The button is a verb. Push here to add a shot, not push here for an add shot. That's why when you keep pressing the button, you keep adding more shots. Because it's an action button, a verb button, not a noun button. I know language is fluid and grammar is evolving and all of that, but how the hell did this spread so far and wide without me getting the memo? Every time it came up, I felt like I had slipped into some alternate dimension where people use add as an adjective, and It made me feel very alone and afraid. Number 7. The holiday playlist. So, everybody who works in service faces a plethora of annoyances during the holiday season, and for many people, the endless holiday music is enough to drive them insane. Now, I like Christmas music. Most Christmas music. It is kind of inexcusable how many covers of Wonderful Christmas Time were on the holiday playlist.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Yeah, that guy from yesterday took no pride in being the only person to remember this song. But that's not a Starbucks-specific issue. The Starbucks-specific issue is, for some reason, the holiday playlist also included the song Holiday Road. Holiday Road on the Christmas playlist. Look, I love the song Holiday Road, but it's not a holiday song. It has the word holiday in it, but it's not about holidays. I'm pretty sure the only National Lampoon's Vacation movie the song isn't in is Christmas Vacation. So why the hell is it on a Christmas-specific playlist? Forget arguing about whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Here comes Galaxy Brain Starbucks here to tell us that this tribute to stressful summer vacations is, in fact, a Christmas song. Starbucks has already redefined the coffee industry, now they're redefining the very calendar. And you said Howard Schultz isn't a radical. Number 6. This really doesn't matter at all, and rationally it shouldn't be on this list. But it keeps me up at night, so we gotta talk about it. Let's go into the history of Starbucks. The first Starbucks location is located at 1912 Pike Place Market in Seattle. It was originally located at a different address, but for the sake of the company's history, this address at this world-famous Seattle market is Starbucks' origin point. So to honor the heritage, the medium roast coffee is called Pike Place Roast. Pike for short. Because nothing makes coffee sound appetizing like associating it with seafood. But I guess by this point, Pike Place Market has an identity of its own. You don't think about the individual words that make up the name, so you're not thinking of fish when you say Pike, you're just thinking of this coffee. Just more of that eerily successful rebranding Starbucks does with the English language. But that's not what bothers me. What bothers me is the shockingly large number of people that call it Pikes. Like they say the right name, but they add an S, presumably an apostrophe S. This confuses and frightens me. What is this widespread Mandela effect hallucination that causes people to think the market belongs to the fish? If the Pike owned the place market, don't you think they'd have a thing or two to say about the way their fellow fish were treated there? Or do they just think the coffee belongs to Christopher Pike? Picard gets a winery, Pike gets a roastery, every Starfleet captain gets their own beverage place. It reminds me of back in college, the first day of one semester, when 2 separate professors misread my last name as Granzel. Now, yes, I know I just offended people who mishear people's names, and I'm not angry at them for misreading my name, I'm just scared and confused. 2 identical out-of-left-field misreadings that close to each other? Where are they getting Granzel from? There's no R in there. Just like there's no S in Pike Place. Where are all you people seeing these phantom letters? When are these letters coming to you? Do they tell you to do things? Number 5. Making a big deal about the size names. This one's more the company's fault, but it's the customers who made it a thing. Time for a little more Starbucks history. When the cafe first opened, there were 2 sizes, 8-ounce and 12-ounce, or as they were known at the time, short and tall. Reasonable names for the 2 sizes, but then they added an extra large, a 16-ounce. And to make it a little fancier and to honor the Italian heritage of espresso, they decided to call it Grande, which is Italian for large. So you had short, which was the small, tall, which was the large, and Grande, which was the extra large. Again, this all tracks. But then they remembered they're serving Americans, and Americans don't believe in moderate portion sizes, so they added another size up, a 20-ounce. And at this point they realized that naming any drink the large was a fool's errand, so they decided to name drinks after an actual description of their sizes. So they called it Venti, which is Italian for 20. And they carried that tradition on into the 30-ounce Trenta. And I'm sure within the next few decades, as they keep adding paunch burger level sizes, they'll continue to be named accordingly. Now, by the time the average American encountered a Starbucks, the sizes were all set in stone, so yeah, to a first-timer, it does seem a little weird that the seemingly small drink is called tall. The real weird part is that apparently you as a consumer aren't satisfied with the largest conceivable amount of coffee in 1971. No, you need more. But sure, when you don't know the backstory, the name sizes do sound a little odd. And I assure you, whatever joke you're going to make about the names, we've heard it before. The joke was old when we heard it from Doonesbury in 2003, it was old when we heard it from Paul Rudd and David Wayne in 2008, but at least they were using getting upset about it as the signifier for being a raging asshole. Whatever joke you're gonna make about how we don't know what size names mean, we've been hearing it every day since the 90s. Gonna give us some great material about the differences between men and women, too. And for those of you who aren't making fun of us, for those of you who are hemming and hawing because you're legitimately nervous about saying the wrong thing and getting all confused with the name sizes, I promise you, if you just say small, medium, or large, we will understand you. We do speak English. We may respond in Starbuckese if our manager is watching, but we won't kick you out for clearly communicating the size you're looking for. Number 4. This one is not the customer's fault. It's probably not even corporate's fault. Did our ovens come from a third-party manufacturer? Probably. Anyway, there's something about the ovens that confused the hell out of me, and it had to do with their cleaning process. So when we clean out the ovens every day, we have to take out all the various pieces and wash them, and every couple of days there's an extra step where we have to clean out the air filter in the back of the oven, get all the dust off of that. It's kind of like the lint trap on a dryer, and I'm told cleaning it was similarly a safety concern, so there's no, fires or anything. The way we knew it was time to clean it out was when this message came up on screen. Please clean air filter. What baffled me was the options we were then presented with. Press 0 to clear message or on/off to ignore. I have questions about this dichotomy. First off, why is ignoring the message an option you're providing us? Why are you allowing us to just brush aside this warning that's vital to the safety and hygiene of the store? And second off, why even give us an option? 'Cause no matter which button we push, the message just goes away. But then if we don't clean the filter, the message just comes back the next day. It's a completely fake option, just there to give us the illusion that we have any control over any aspect of our lives while we're on the clock. God, I hated this job. Number 3. Oh man. So, let's face it, coffee tastes like hot mud. So you're probably gonna want some cream and sugar in there. So you ask for some room in your coffee, and I get it, maybe we don't give you enough room. Even if you fill it to the top with cream from here, your coffee is still going to taste too much like coffee. So you need more room to fit even more cream in it. But do you have to pour it out in the trash can? I mean, I get it, it's right there, it's more convenient than going to the bathroom sink or going outside and pouring it out in the dirt, but do you just come from some alternate dimension where hot liquids don't seep through the bottom of trash bags, ruining everything? Now when we take out the trash, there's going to be a trail of oozing liquid following where the bag was, and it's your fault. Well, and corporate's fault for not investing in better trash bags, but you sharing the blame. We were predisposed to like you because you ordered a regular coffee, the simplest thing there is to make. And then you go and squander that goodwill with your rampant destruction? Not cool, amalgamation of various baby boomers I've served over the years. Not cool. Number 2. People making fun of pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice is delicious. Not as delicious as chestnut praline, which is the real gold standard of seasonal flavors, but pumpkin spice is very, very good. Pumpkin spice frappuccinos are evil, sure, but that's just because all frappuccinos are evil. Pumpkin spice lattes are one of fall's great pleasures. Stop mocking people for ordering them. And my number 1 inconsequential pet peeve about Starbucks, and now a deep dive into the Starbucks reward system. It works like most reward systems. When you order at Starbucks, you get points, you get enough points, you get a free item. Straightforward enough. When I started at the company, you got points for each time you ordered. Which sounds fine in theory, but then people would come up to the register and ask us to ring up each item they purchased separately so that they would get points for each item. That could get annoying, to say the least. But then, in a rare case of corporate having a good idea, they actually revamped the system so that this wouldn't come up anymore. After the revamp, points were no longer earned per transaction, they were earned per dollar spent, which was really a more fair way of doing it anyway. So, that's that. There's no longer any need to make multiple transactions at the register because you get the same points no matter how many transactions your order is in. Problem solved, right? Right? Then, because the brilliant minds at corporate can't just let things be good for 5 entire minutes, they started these dash games to promote specific items. Stuff like visit 5 times this week and order a mocha each time and get 150 bonus stars and things like that. So what would happen? People would just come to the register and order 5 mochas. But since they had to be separate visits, they'd ring them up as separate transactions. Literally the exact thing the system was revamped to discourage, the system was once again encouraging. I hate this stupid company. Since then, the reward system has been revamped again, and I don't know what all is different about it because I don't need to anymore. But it does seem like now they're doing more dashes based on visiting multiple days in a row, which once again avoids the problem because it won't count if you get the item twice in a single day. So good work fixing it, Starbucks, if you really did fix it this time. But you're a multi-billion-dollar international company, you should not have made such an obvious oversight in the first place. If you're revamping a system specifically to discourage a specific behavior, how hard is it to not immediately go back and start encouraging that same behavior again? I know this might not sound like the most annoying or confusing thing about the job, but it's just a microcosm of how bad Starbucks is as a whole. For every step forward they take 50 leaps backwards. And the sad thing is, deep down, I know that Starbucks did treat me better than a lot of other fast food treats their employees, but just because they were slightly less awful doesn't mean they were exactly good. I'm not telling you all this to try to discourage you from drinking at Starbucks, although if you're ordering a Frappuccino, please tip very, 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 very well. Come on, you can afford it, you're already spending more for less drink. Just, when you go to Starbucks, be patient with your baristas, okay? Their jobs really suck. And these were just my minor issues with working at that god-awful place. None of those were the reasons I left the company, and yet when I realized how miserable I was there, they sure didn't help. So, what's the worst job you've ever worked, and what were things that just got under your skin about that job every day, even if objectively they weren't that big a deal? Let's discuss this all in the comments, and until next time, this is Dave, and I'm done with this place.